Hi everyone. So today I want to talk a little bit about politics, but more specifically how I believe that people have started to treat politics like a religion, where it's based on faith rather than facts and logic. Like religion, you cannot sway someone's political opinion anymore through facts and logic because these political opinions have become a religion to them. They believe in them so much that they are not willing to change their opinions, no matter how much evidence contradicts their points, simply due to the fact that their opinion has become faith based. Um, I don't know if anyone's ever tried to have a conversation with someone of an opposite faith, or if you don't believe in anything, you try to sway someone not to believe in something. It's very hard to have an actual conversation with anybody. Even if you're religious and you try to have a conversation with somebody who's not religious, it's very hard to sway somebody of another, I guess, religious viewpoint because beliefs are often with religion associated with faith rather than facts or logic. Whether or not you're religious, you cannot argue the fact that there really aren't any much. There's not much evidence, nor are there many facts that can prove uh, the points to any of these religious beliefs. It's a faith-based system. Um, and it's become like that with politics now, and you cannot have conversations today anymore with people of opposing political beliefs because their political opinions have now become faith based. People can no longer be swayed. I feel they argue to win, not to reflect on their viewpoints, and people just aren't open to being wrong anymore. Debates, those don't matter anymore. People have their minds made up due to their political affiliation already. Most people have a guy in mind that they want to vote for, and that's who they end up sticking with, usually whoever their political party props up. Now, when you're voting in for that political party's candidate, there's a little bit of swaying that has to be done there. But usually it's just who can appeal to me the most by um, giving the correct opinions. Um, an interesting point about this is political debates used to matter a lot. It wouldn't just be I'm going to vote for this guy because he's Democrat or I'm going to vote for this guy because he's Republican. Political debates used to actually matter and show who the greatest candidate was. An example of this would be the Kennedy versus Nixon debates. So those, I believe, the one of the debates with them, it was the first ever televised political debate, and it was interesting because I believe the people who listened to the debate on radio believed that Nixon had won because he had given better arguments and facts and logic and reasoning to the questions, but those who watched the televised event thought that Kennedy had won because he was a more charismatic and charming guy. He looked more prepared. He looked better. He looked more presentable and uh, more presidential-like even. While Nixon, he would sweat a lot. He had 5 o'clock shadow because his beard would grow in really fast. He'd grow facial hair really fast. And Kennedy had makeup done while Nixon had not had any makeup done on him. And those two different sides of the same political debate had swayed people depending on the medium that they had chose to view the event on. And that had an impact on people's opinions. Uh, the things that they had said and the way that they had looked had changed the opinions of the voters on who they wanted to vote for. And it was a close election because of that. Um, but it's debates aren't again just aren't really like that as much anymore. It's more of I'm looking for the guy who mostly identifies with my faith-based opinions, and that's who I'm voting for my candidate, for my Republican or Democrat candidate, and then the presidential primary, you are going to vote for your candidate of your party. I do not partake in this because I'm an independent. I don't believe in choosing sides. I think that that is um, a bad decision. I think that choosing to stick to a party is a bad thing. I might make a video on that someday. Because I think I think we're going a little bit on a political run here with some videos, but yeah. Next thing is um both political parties today, they follow this groupthink and they vote based on their party. Politicians are afraid of their own people, and they say and don't say certain things because they're afraid of what their party will do to them. And this has occurred in my lifetime. I've seen this more occurring since 2016. I feel like a lot in life had changed back then. That presidential race between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in 2016. I think a lot of politics changed that year, actually, for the worse on both sides. Just there was a lot of bad going on there, but it's just gone worse since then. Everything to do with cancel culture has really also made worse this idea that I have to grift towards a certain audience in my party in order to stay in power. But aside from that, going back to faith, I think faith can be a bad thing, as believing things based off of faith rather than facts and logic can be a dangerous thing to do, as opinions that aren't based in an objective reality and simply a faith-based belief. I think that that's just wrong. Opinions are made to be changed, but when your opinion's based on faith, this becomes very hard to change your opinion. But even though I say that, I do think that faith can also be good. I think that people need to have faith in some sort of ways in their life. I think people need to have faith in themselves and sometimes faith in other things or people. When people are out of hope, often faith can carry them to do things that they wouldn't have done before. An example of this, I talked in my OCD video about being suicidal, and what had carried me out of that and allowed myself to live was faith in myself as well as faith in God. And that had allowed me, when I had no hope and I felt there's no facts or logical reasons to live, it carried me out of that. But those are just my opinions on politics becoming a religion, some things on faith and facts and logic. So what about the song of the day? Today's song of the day will be A Mess to Be Made by The Format. That's a really good song. I've seen them a couple times live since they've come back. And yeah, thanks for watching.